Intro. What's up, everybody? So I did just talk to my dad for my first guest on my podcast. I brought all my equipment and I came down to the Esquire Club, and we just had a little conversation about a little bit of his life, a little bit of his family, and I think it turned out really good. We talked for about a half hour. So with that all being said, let's get to it. Hope you enjoy the podcast. Cue that music.
Welcome to the whatever.
The Ride or Die Podcast.
Yeah.
Say it.
The Ride or Die Podcast.
Hi, Dad.
Hello, Matthew Marsh. How are you today?
I'm good. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to spend this time with you and see what we can or can't talk about.
Right. Well, you just got back from the hospital, and you were there for like 3 hours, it seemed like.
5 hours I was up there. I was up there at 7 o'clock. I just got back here at noon. And it was just tests. I did a little calcium test on my heart, and it showed high. So then the doctor ordered a stress test and an echo test and a few other things. So that was my whole morning.
And you just had your birthday the other day. You're 67?
67 years old. Yes, sir.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm glad I can still have birthdays.
Yeah, bring the mic a little bit closer.
I'm glad I can still have birthdays. You know, those big numbers sort of mess with your head a little bit, but you know, the more birthdays you have, that's the more blessings that you get.
Right. And I was kind of bummed that you canceled your motorcycle run.
Well, my first year that we did my birthday run was 1980 from DJ's Bar. Right down around the corner here from the Esquire Club. There was a little bar there. And I've never canceled one yet until this year. And I think we've probably ridden in weather quite similar to what we had this Saturday. But at 67 and 40 years of doing the ride, I figure I have nothing to prove to anybody that I could do it.
Yeah.
And if there would be something mishap, you know, your reflexes are slow and you're cold and you're, miserable. And if there would have been a mishap, my birthday would not be a birthday run anymore, but it could be remembered for something else.
Right, something a little bit more attractive, especially if there's a lot of newer riders coming out, the younger riders, and thinking they can do it. And I've ridden in pouring rain, and it sucks. It's not fun. And then if one person pulls over and you don't see that other person pull over in front of you, and bad things can happen fast.
And the young people are the ones that feel they have to prove something to the older people. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I do remember one year, went to a bachelor party in Livingston, Montana, and woke up to snow, and it was a miserable, snowy ride, rainy ride. And we got to Miles City, and we finally called to Dickinson for a ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just leave the bikes there then?
No, they came with a trailer.
Oh, really?
But, you buy those little hand warmers that you shake up and make your hands warm.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get wet, they don't work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly, right? Because they need oxygen to heat up. So you used to, because I work on a drilling rig, and you worked on a drilling rig for how long?
1 week.
So how did your 1 week experience go with on a drilling rig?
It was all a learning experience up to that. Then everything is new and big, and it's exciting to be out there and you just see the strength and the power that those machines have to drill.
Mm-hmm.
And we were moving some collar with what's it called? Pick it up and move it over.
A tugger?
No, I don't remember what it was called anymore. But anyway, it slipped and it bounced on the floor of the
rig floor?
Rig floor, and it landed on my driller's foot and took off part of some of his toes and stuff.
That was Jeff?
Glenn,
because I met Glenn when I used to be a welder right out of high school.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, he went out the V door and went down the beaver slide, so I jumped out after him, and nobody ever told me how to go down that. And about halfway down, I says, "Holy crap, I'm going pretty fast."
Yeah.
And we got to the bottom, and I rolled down the catwalk, and I jumped off to run over to him, and my foot was really squishy, and I had broken my ankle.
Oh, no. So anybody that's listening, a beaver slide is what we bring up pipe to the rig floor. It's about 40 feet tall, and it's fairly steep. So it was a long drop to a flat surface, and yeah, I can just about imagine how fast you were going. I've always wanted to run up one, but it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, anyway, so I went over to one of the other hands there, and I told him, I said, Jake, I think I broke my leg. And he says, well, go lay underneath that where they had all the drill pipe
racks.
Go lay under the pipe racks, because when the ambulance comes in, I don't want them running you over. And now I got two of you to deal with.
And Jake was my first pusher. Was he your pusher at the time?
I don't believe he was a pusher at that time. I don't know. Maybe he was.
Yeah, I don't know. And that was with neighbors?
Yep.
That was with neighbors? That's funny. So you've got opportunities to travel around the world. I think I asked you before, how many countries have you been to?
I don't know, 22 or something like that.
22?
I don't remember anymore.
What was your favorite place you've been so far?
Oh, they all have so many amazing memories. I was in China 5 times. I got to see the Great Wall, and that was interesting to see the clash of the cultures, where you have the few of the wealthy and basically where our country is going to. You have eliminating the middle class, and you have the poor class and the rich class. Going to Cuba was another thing just like that. I mean, amazing. Croatia is probably one of the most beautiful countries I was in. I've been there 3 times.
Yeah.
Every place, the people, and the thing is, everybody, no matter where you're at, common person, all they want is to provide for their family. They don't care about government, and they don't care about, religion is a somewhat of an important part, but every person's common thing is to wish the best for their family.
Yeah. And that should be everybody. That should how everybody should live their life, not worry about social media status. The only status you should worry about is your family status. So, but speaking of families, you got a fairly large family.
Well, you're part of it.
I am part of it. I'm part of the best part of it, if you were going to ask me.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Number 4.
So you had 8 children, me being a twin. What is it like to raise such a more than an average size family?
Well, I mean, there were struggles, financial struggles, especially since you all went to parochial school, private school. Just trying to be fair with everybody, but nothing in life is fair. There's a lot of joys. The hardest part was in the industry that we're in the hospitality industry and running a bar. I was never home, so all the workload fell on your mother.
Yeah.
So I would get home at 2 a.m. and go to bed, and you guys would get up to go to school at 8. So Mom would make you guys breakfast, and you guys would bring me breakfast in bed and the newspaper, and off you'd go. And maybe I'd see you after school for a little bit when you stopped by to tell me hello, and go to some of your events. But I mean, for the most part, your mom did all the work. Yeah,
well, that's very much true. I always remember waking up and asking if you had any cash and checking out your tip pocket in your pants.
Yeah. And then when you guys finally all graduated, after Marcus graduated, I wasn't getting breakfast in bed anymore, and I couldn't understand why. And your mom said, well, I made the kids breakfast, and I had your breakfast, and it was just nice that they could bring it up to you and tell you good morning before they left. And so that part of your life is over with.
Well, your grandkids don't bring you breakfast anymore? Because they're usually around here. You're babysitting them.
Yeah, but I'm upstairs and they're down here. So
yeah, that's true. So being a parent, what was your proud moments between the kids? No, just whatever random memory, doesn't matter which one. We should probably name. We got a family of 8 kids. There's Marissa, Miranda, Mariah, Matthew, Marley, Max, Marina, Marcus. All M's, all 7 letters. It's how did that all come about? How did the naming?
Well, that is another thing of your mother's. If Marissa would have been a boy, her name would have been Bo Charles.
Bo Charles.
If Miranda would have been a boy, her name would have been Bo Charles. Since we had a Marissa, and then we picked, Miranda. We have a Missy and a Mandy, which nobody ever called them names. It was always Marissa and Miranda. And then Mariah came along, and it's just like, well, at this point, we're all M's and 7 letters, so that was just your mom's way of...
Yeah. Yeah, there's Marissa, Miranda, Mariah, and then you had your perfect child, me, and then Marley tagged along with.
Yep. That was, some of my prouder moments, I suppose, was when I was in the delivery room with your mother. And counting fingers and toes.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You don't count the same amount as toes and fingers as they do you?
Well, no.
Yeah. So my dad lost his fingers in a, what did you say? What was that? A table saw accident?
Yes.
You want to tell that story?
Well, that was you twins, Matthew and Marley, were my youngest two children at the time, and they were in the house with my father. And I was doing a little bit of work in the shop, some trim work and stuff that I was, just making my shop a little fancier. And then I was going to go out and milk the cows. And your mother was in town shopping, and I had ripped some one of the first rules of running a saw is, you always adjust your blade before every cut.
What kind of saw?
A table saw.
A table saw?
You always adjust your blade. Well, you know what? I was in a hurry, and I'd ripped some 2x4s, and then there was one piece of 1/4-inch plywood that I wanted to cut that I kept forgetting about, so I thought of it, and I was pushing it through didn't adjust my blade, pushing it through with my right hand, and something caught the corner of my eye, a movement where I thought maybe there was a mouse or something in the shop, so I stopped, and I turned and brought my hand up over the blade, which if it would have been adjusted, it never would have happened, but it slammed it down and took off my fingers.
Did you find them all?
I didn't look, but no, they did not.
Yeah.
In fact, I think one of the cats found one of them.
Oh, really? That's funny. Yeah, those feral cats at the farm. Gross. Jessie, my girlfriend, always wants to bring a cat, and it's like, no cats for me. So one of the funniest moments I had growing up, I played sports in high school, and I remember coming out to a game, and here's you sitting there with a giant picture of my face.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, I was so embarrassed, but the next game, all the other parents had their kids on their their face on their shirts. So that was super funny. I always found it funny. Maybe it was junior year, we went to state when you did the red mohawk.
Yep.
Yep. And that wasn't that the bet. If we got to state, you would.
You once came and asked me if you can. It was Thanksgiving. If you guys could shave my head.
Yeah.
I said, you guys want to shave my head? Shave my head. So you guys shaved my head, and then basketball season came, and you came and asked me. He said, if we go to state, will your hair be long enough to go there with a mohawk, a red mohawk? And I said, it'll be long enough for a red mohawk.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a bet or anything. It was just an agreement that if you go to state, because the bet's got two sides, and you had nothing on your side if you'd lost.
Yeah, but I'm a kid, so I was a kid. So
a junior, which is pretty much an adult.
No, juniors are not adults. They're just older kids.
Well, they think they're adults.
Well, yeah, we did think we're adults. I'm 35, and I still think I'm a kid.
Yeah, well, your thoughts have changed anyway. So yeah, so we shaved the mohawk and we bleached it and dyed it red.
Yeah.
It eventually turned pink and orange, but yeah, it was red for the game.
So you've owned the Bernie's Esquire Club here in Dickinson, and you've owned it for 33 years now?
34, because it was 1987 that we bought it.
1987, okay. And how's owning a bar ups and downs? Because people always tell me, oh, that must be a good business. And I remember, like, summertime is your slow time, too.
Summer times are difficult. Your days are longer. People are outside. Weekends they go to the lake or whatever. I mean, their bags are packed, and when they get home from work on Friday, they're in the truck and taking off. Mm-hmm. Granted, you don't have the same expenses. Your heat's not running 24/7. Your lights are not as much. But yeah, and if in the summertime people are out in their yard, if they do come out, it's 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. When the sun's going down almost. Yeah. Are you happy with the decision? Because you did not buy the bar for a lifelong career.
No, it was not a life. Didn't think anything about it other than the fact that I had cut my fingers off and I could not take the cold weather, feeding cattle and stuff. So we looked for an inside job, and something to support my family with.
Mm-hmm.
I never gave it any thought about that it was going to be a lifelong thing. And now looking back at it, even though I've had a lot of good times, good memories, good friends, memories that are irreplaceable. In the same respect, at this point, when you own your own business, you really don't set anything aside for you when you're old and, to retire.
Yeah.
So we have nothing left to retire on. So having a job with retirement and benefits and stuff like that would have definitely been a plus.
Yeah, something with like 401k and whatnot.
and hours where I could have spent time at home with the family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of young people come to me and asking me about starting their own business and pluses and minuses, and especially hospitality businesses, but all businesses. If you're going to be successful in your business, it will be a prison,
Mm-hmm.
and to be successful, you will probably put more time and energy into making that business successful than you will to making your home life successful.
Yeah, there's a big difference. So you're basically saying if you want to start a job, make it a side job.
Well, yes and no. You know, there's definitely pluses, and I did love my life and the time that we had in the bar, but it takes away from your family.
Yeah, but
And a side job will do that to you too.
Yeah, oh for sure. But all of us kids worked at the bar, didn't we?
Yes.
At one point or not?
Every one of you had your break in time at the bar. I mean, you all had little jobs that you had to do. I mean, carrying out the garbage, washing off the tables, the stands underneath the tables. You all had to have some chores. You know, growing up on a farm, you would have had chores, but you didn't have that anymore. And to teach some responsibility, you know, that's one of the reasons we started the lemonade stand.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I used to get good tips. I think the biggest payday I did, because we used to work out there in like 2-hour periods, maybe 4-hour periods, just right outside the bar, and it'd be funny because people would come out, get $1 lemonade, and come back, and they'd put a shot of whatever in it. Yeah, at least that's what I assumed they were doing. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why all these people were coming out from the bar and, you know,
and lemonade. But you know, that taught you guys the responsibility of having your schedules.
Mm-hmm.
It taught you how to make change and count money, and it taught you to have conversation with people. And if you needed to switch your shift, you had to get along with your brothers or sisters or somebody to make that.
Take it over, yeah. Because that lemonade stand, we had it open for almost 7 hours, 6 hours a day.
Yeah, I think some from like 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that was always fun. I know all the grandkids, for the most part. I know Rayleigh has come to Dickinson every once in a while. She don't get down very often, but she's had to work the lemonade stand too.
Yeah, we run it a little bit during the first and stuff, but we don't keep it open all day like we did.
We used to. Yeah, traffic is a lot different than what it used to be when I was growing up in the early 90s.
Yep.
Yeah, so I got a fight coming up here in August 14th. I always wondered, what did you think about me fighting and having a little combat career?
As a parent, I mean, I'm proud of everything you've accomplished, and the what's the word I'm looking for staying focused and practicing. But I mean, once you're in the ring, I mean, we're nervous.
Yeah.
But the discipline that you have learned from your MMA stuff and your jiu-jitsu,
My martial arts, yeah.
the discipline that it teaches you is, you know, so valuable, and it's changed who you are as a person a lot. It's made you much more responsible, and so I mean, I'm very proud of all that, you know. And yeah, I'm definitely going to try and see if I can make it to that fight there in Fargo, you know.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I'm excited. I have to get work off for it though, which kind of sucks because now I'm out of a little bit of my paycheck for hours.
And that's another thing that bothers me too. If you'd get injured, that would take your paycheck away also.
Yeah, I just won't get injured, or won't let them know I'm injured.
So you are what, 30? 35. And so, I mean, what is the length of a period that you feel you can do MMA fighting?
You know, I don't know. I will never get to high standards like a UFC or Bellator. Not anymore, at least. And even with my schedule the way it was, working 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and still training and not training, but local fights, I've never fought in Fargo, so I want to fight in Fargo. And my last fight was televised, so I was like, yeah, I gotta try a televised fight. If they'd ever have fights back in Dickinson, I'll say yeah, because right now I can get paid. Because when I talk to the promoter, I say, hey, you know, I got to take time off work. You got to compensate for that. And that's what they usually do. So
then you're 35, and do you know anything about your opponent? Is he your age, tall, short?
Actually, my opponent, I just told you the story yesterday. I just met him, and if it pans out, the guy's name's Mark Hummel. Super cool dude. We had a pretty good conversation. He's from Brainerd, Minnesota, and when I was in Des Moines, I met him. And it was just so random where I kind of hurt my shoulder and I wasn't going to do my gi matches anymore. And I was talking to this guy and he's like, yeah, I wish I would have signed up for the gi match. I was like, hey, man, just take my spot. And it panned out where the spot that I paid for, he could take over. And then I got home into Fargo and my boxing coach was like, oh, we got an opponent for you. And he's like, his name's Mark Hummel. And I was like, I just met the dude. Super cool dude. I'm really excited. My buddy Alex Lennox fought him. He beat Alex, and my buddy Ben Simon fought him, and Ben beat him. But those were a couple years ago. So, and I grappled with him, and he's a very talented individual, and he actually beat me. So I'm all about a rematch.
You're right. But how old is he?
I don't know.
How tall is he?
I don't know. Shorter than me.
Oh.
And right away, the fight was supposed to be at 155, but I told that promoter that I don't want to cut that weight anymore. So I told him I'll fight at 160, so we'll probably just do a catch weight at 160, which I think would be perfect for me. I think my first fight was actually a catch weight at 160. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm more excited to give it a try.
So what is his style? Is his style jiu-jitsu also then, do you think?
He's an MMA fighter. He's talented at jiu-jitsu. I know that.
But I mean, all MMA fighters have something that they gear towards more than some of the other.
Yeah, I don't know that much about him. I tried watching some of his fights on YouTube with 6 years old, 8 years old, and I'm like, oh, that his style could have been very much changed over the years. So whatever happens. I'm not going to train for him. I'm going to train for get my stuff a little bit more fine tuned and get my cardio up and make sure when I'm at work for my 2 weeks, I got a adjustable kettlebell and then just run so I keep my weight down. I'm excited.
Good. I'm excited too for you.
So how long have you been riding a motorcycle? Because that's one of your big hobbies is motorcycle.
Well, I think my first motorcycle was 1966 probably.
That was the motorcycle. That was the year.
That's the year that I think I started.
1966. And how old were you?
Well, I was born in 54, so I'd have been 12.
Oh, really? I want to get Rayleigh, my daughter, a little motorcycle, a little 80 or something like that, something 3 gears to shift. And I talked about you that the other day too.
But I grew up with horses, and then I suppose it must have been about that time frame my folks were going to buy me a bicycle because I didn't have a bicycle, and we went to the hardware store here, Schiller's Hardware. And that's when the monkey bikes were the big thing, with the banana seat and the lap hangers and stuff. And they're looking at that. It's like, how's he going to get the cows with that? So then I got a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't you do that for me?
I didn't have any cows.
Yeah.
So anyway, from there on, I went from Honda 50 to Yamaha 100 to Yamaha 350. And then I got into cars for a little bit. And then I got into the Harleys.
Yeah. When you... what was I just going to ask here? You got any experiences like back when you started riding a motorcycle, or maybe the 70s or the 80s? It was very much frowned upon, like on the interstate, and cars didn't really give two shits.
That was tough, even though even semi truck drivers, we shared the road with them, but if they had a chance, they'd run you off the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, we were definitely, it was not a popular time to be a motorcyclist. I bought my first Harley in 1978.
That was a Panhead?
1958 Panhead, yeah. And our first trip to Sturgis was in 1980, which your mother, I just found out she was pregnant with Marissa.
Okay.
So we were on a rigid frame Panhead and made her down there and back, and your mother, on the way back, first of all, we got down there and she said, I want you to go buy me a pillow. I said, for what? She said, to put under my butt. And I said, well, really nobody uses pillows for their butt. She said, I don't care. I want a pillow.
Yeah.
So I went and bought her a little pillow, and we pulled into this campground, and this one gal comes running out. She's looking. She says, what's that? I said, that's a pillow. She says, for my butt. She said, oh, that's a great idea. So she went and got her big
pillow
and folded it over and put it on her seat. So your mother was, that's back then the seats were probably 6 inches wide.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
with a hard foam in it, and
Yep.
yeah.
And so then we spent the week down there riding around, and I think we left on either Thursday and we came back on Sunday. Raining to go on the way home. And then the same gal, my cousin Cindy, Kylan, she pulls up and she's driving in the truck and her husband's riding his bike, and she says, "Paulette, you want to ride the truck with me?" And Paulette says, "Nope, I'm doing this once and I'm going to make the whole trip."
Yeah. And
So her rain gear consisted of a garbage bag with a hole in it for her head and a hole for each arm, and that was her rain gear.
yeah, that's funny. I've done stuff like that at work.
And so that was our first trip to Sturgis.
Yeah, I'm actually August. Sturgis is the first 2 weekends of August.
Well, it's the first full week of August. Yeah, I guess first 2 weekends would work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I always would tell people. And work wise, it kind of rolls through the whole. I miss the whole Sturgis, but I was going to take time off for Sturgis, but now I got to take time off for the fight. So this will be the second year in like 5 years I got to miss going to Sturgis. And my girlfriend wasn't very happy, but then she realized, well, Matthew wants to fight, so. And I kind of want her to see me fight. That'd be cool. Make sure she understands how nervous people get. And I get more nervous watching my friends fight than for my fight. It's super weird.
Sure. Because you're focusing on two different things.
Yeah, absolutely. So grandkids, you have, how many grandkids do you have now?
14.
You have 14 grandkids? Is that real? No, do you? I got 14. Well, I would have 13 nieces and nephews.
Well, when Matthew Maxon married Katie,
yeah,
we got 3 more. So,
yep. So, how does when is the? I don't think we've got the whole family together in a long time.
we haven't, and it'll probably be difficult. Especially with Maxon's little Burnell. She's lives in Wisconsin, and she doesn't make it back this way very often.
No.
So. And Rayleigh is a little more, not quite as difficult, but it's sometimes tough to get her involved with the rest of us too.
Yep. Which is fine. I'm planning on taking her at least one time, bringing her to Dickinson over the summer, but it's so much driving because I got to drive all the way to Minneapolis and the Minneapolis area and then drive all the way back to Dickinson, which is 8 hours in itself. Well, back to Fargo, and then her mom picks her up. So grandkids, you guys babysit a lot. Now, is it babysitting your grandkids kind of like parenting your kids when they were younger? Or you softer on them?
Softer on the grandkids?
Yeah.
Much.
Why is that?
I guess it's not our job to be the parent.
It's their job to be a parent figure, though.
Yeah.
Because I see these little twerps running around now, and they do stuff, and I'm like, I'm going to put you in the garbage can. That's why I was telling Flint. I'm like, Flint, I'm going to put you in this garbage can and put you in the dumpster. And then I told that to Phoenix, too, and Phoenix is like, I don't want to go in the dumpster. And both those I had this all set up, so they were playing podcasts. It was really funny. I'm going to send the audio to their parents.
Yep. But yeah, the grandkids, I mean, it's really sort of strange because, they came sort of in groups, like the first 5, and they were all girls.
Yep.
And now this next 5 are sort of a mixture.
Yep.
But they're all close together in age. So we have the 3 little boys that are really close together.
Yeah, that's nice.
And so it is cool.
So we're getting up onto that about half-hour mark. What would you, if you could give any advice? Oh, wait, you just... I want to talk about this. You're a county commissioner now.
Yes, I am.
How do you like that?
It is fulfilling in a lot of ways. It's been 6 months since I've been since I got elected. Some stress, not really a whole lot of negative feedback that I know of from the people that voted for me. It doesn't seem. I don't feel that people are. Sometimes people in public office are unapproachable.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I'm very approachable. I mean, people know where they can find me. I get text messages. People come down here to see me. As long as they talk to me, not hollering and screaming and swearing, but just as two people should visit with each other about a problem.
Yep.
I'm the road commissioner. It's been a really tough year so far for the roads,
Mm-hmm.
because your county roads are dirt, and if there's no moisture, there's nothing to hold the dirt together.
Yeah.
As a kid, when you'd make mud pies, you'd make the mud, and mix the dirt in the water and make a pie, and you let it out to bake, and it would be hard. And that's the same with our roads. Now that they're dry, and they would hold together, well, now that they're dry, they're rough and they're breaking apart, and you can't blade them because you're just going to make them worse. But now we got some moisture, so I mean that's the one thing. The second thing is, working with the IT committee. There was some setbacks there, and we went through. Our first IT company left right when I got elected. The second one, things didn't work out, so we finally got our third one in there, and they've been doing a great job. We had issues with our emails down in the county, which they've got everything up working again now. Yep. So, I mean, it's been very interesting working with different people and seeing some of the knowledge that's people have. It's just like wow, I wish I knew some of that stuff.
Right. So what does a county commissioner exactly do?
Well, we all have portfolios. Like I have the road department, I have the IT department. I am on the portfolio for the law enforcement building. We're all on finance. There's other people that have planning and zoning. I mean, there's just a list of. We all have our own little jobs, and that's what we concentrate on. If people have problems with, they find out who that commissioner is. One person's in charge of basically all the employees, and.
So basically in your county or town, you find that if you have questions about political or city-wise things, they contact the.
If it's city, they'd contact their city commissioners.
Okay, but they would contact the commissioner.
Right.
Okay, so that makes sense. I know I contacted the commissioner in Cass County, and I was asking him about what they plan to do if this whole gun shabil with the president and stuff. And I talked to him for about like a half hour, and he had some pretty good insight. And I know Cass, that was a big thing too. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you?
701-590-9876.
There you go.
That come down to the bar and whatever. I'm not that hard. I've got a Facebook page. I had it set up for my county commission, but it's not. I don't know why that one I cannot surf through as easily as my personal one. But a lot of people contact me on Messenger through Facebook.
Yeah.
And give me, we swap phone numbers and we call each other up and we talk.
Right on. If you give any advice just for maybe just a younger generation, not saying you're old or anything, but what would be one good thing to tell them? Not to put you on the spot or anything like that.
Well, I guess, the main golden rule in life is respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you get a lot further in life if you're respectful. Set your goals and work for your goals and don't give up on them. Sometimes you have to change your goals, but keep working for your goals.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for having me on my first mobile podcast. I definitely enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. Yep. I'll do it again sometime if you want me to.
Yep. Oh yeah. I just want to do little half-hour things for YouTube and stuff. It makes it a little bit easier. But Bernie Marsh, this is my dad. I love him. I love you, Dad. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Love you too, Matthew Marsh.
Now, remember, when you're doing stuff, always train hard, do good, be kind. Peace.
That's me.
Thanks, Dad.
Yep.